Club German. To you all, and we're gonna start with the prayer. As you guide Heavenly Father, please be with us today as we gain some knowledge and learn about making a business plan. Help us to change information and to apply it in our future. Bless us all and good reading to try to nourish us and us to have a good success.
Okay, thank you. My name is Michelle, and I'm the chair of the School of Business here at the city. It's a pleasure for me to see all of you students from the community coming and participating in this event. We have been organizing for the past 7 years. This is what we're series together. As part of the small business center, we created to support small businesses in the community and provide experience to business students as well. And you remind me, for instance, tonight reminds me of the event we had for LFC for the Small Business Week, which we will have in October as well. Bringing some speakers and interact and exchange some business information and to better our community. So tonight it's a pleasure for the business to welcome Bruno. I am not going to pronounce this. We started by yeah. All right. And I was going to say good evening, bonsoir, and when I started, he speaks 3 international languages. His English is Spanish, and he is a former business owner. And now he's a brand, a banker. Yep. In the RBC. It's a pleasure. I know you have share with us the business owners. Yeah. Students who were business owners only, and they can learn from your experience. See, so it's our pleasure to welcome you. Ready to listen to you.
So, my name is Bruno. I am fortunate in a way that I've been around the block a little bit. I covered a lot of brands in 36 years. I lived in Portugal. I graduated in marketing and business management. I had a strong employee from scratch, which for a lot of business owners, that part here can be quite scary and making sure that we're making the right decisions. Sold it when traveling for about a year and a half. In probably been there. And then London was my last stop, and that's kind of where I stayed. Fortunate enough that I opened my mind for a lot of different ways that different countries do things. So allow me to practice my English, and so it's great. 10 years in England, and then here I am. Fortunate to be able to work for a with a lot of resources and a lot of things that I've actually learned. The purpose of being here tonight is just kind of like giving you the insights on, for all business owners that already have a business and business owners that are starting to get their business, and even for aspiring business owners in the future. Provide some insight and information on some of the steps that you can take to ensure that success as you get your business off the ground and you start expanding and easier and bigger. So going forward, I just want to skip on to the next slide, and I apologize, I'm going to be going backwards and forwards because I'm forgetting quicker. Thank you for that. To the purpose of a business plan, and it's one of those mandatory things that I do think everybody should have one, and should make one, even if you're not exactly up and running, if you're thinking of an idea that you want to promote, whether it's your online presence on Etsy or marketplace, or you decide that you have a product or service that you might think an idea, you know, paper and you add that thing down and realizing how you're going to get there, how you're going to make that business successful. What are the challenges? What are the steps? What are the connections that you need to make? What is the research you need to do? So the purpose of the business plan mainly is going to be describing business. What does it differentiate? Well, how is it different? You know, how do you look at it and go, well, someone's already doing this, but mine is different, mine's better, mine doesn't do that, right? Another thing that you might want to consider inside that is evaluate the progress of your business. Meaning, once you put things into paper, it's not set in stone. Your goals that you set for the first year are probably going to change. Some you're going to achieve in the first couple of months. Some you might have to pivot. Maybe the economy. You might have to focus more on digital presence than in retail shop. Maybe you need to hire other people. Maybe you need to invest in a marketing company or a web designer because you might not know the website. Right? And then after that, we want to evaluate your business opportunities. Meaning, if you look at your brand scale where you are going to be, and what other products can you be, what other partnerships can you do? In my case, I had a restaurant, so I partnered with the council. I worked with different business owners and different companies to provide special events. I had partnership with laundry cleaning services, so they could laundry, wash the uniforms. I had a partnership with the cleaning companies, so they can come in and clean the restaurant. So look at where you are and how can you expand, like how can you make a business more than the different needs. And after that, consider your financial goals. It's very easy for someone to write what an idea is, what a business can be, but how you need to fund it, how you're going to support it. Are you gonna bet all the life savings into this? Are you gonna go to the bank of mom and dad in the beginning? Are you gonna go to a financial institution, maybe, and try and get a loan, right? A business plan sets out where you are, where you're going to be, and how to get there. Okay? So in my church. So let's talk about here the 7 steps. We have the introduction, we have the first page where it basically sets out what the business is going to do, what is the goal, how it's going to work. You're going to have to look at the team. Is it just you? Is it you and the business partner? Are you going to be recruiting? Are you going to look at the HR company? Right? What's your HR department going to do? You're going to look at your business environment. Things like what is your market that you're going to offer? What's your target audience? You're gonna sell fidget spinners. What's your target? Is it going to be 5 to 10 years old? You're 10 to 15, it's going to be a teenager. You're going to sell cell phones, pages, technology, right? You're going to look at your marketing plan. Are you going to design your website? Are you going to look at maybe recruiting a company as a group? How is that going to come into effect? Right? You're going to be considering a lot of things that as you put things down into paper, you're going to come up with little obstacles in your mind and little goals that you want to set that you're going to have to decide how it's going to happen. Right? You're going to look at your operations, things, how you're going to distribute the service. You can distribute products. Is it going to be an envelope and candidate goals? You're going to have the logistics company that's going to do stuff. Right? Is it going to be the employee that works 4 hours a shift that comes in, grabs all the stuff and prints it out? Be a physical space, be a non-hyper, right? You're going to your finance. You know, that first year can be really daunting because you invest so much into that first step that you made. How is it going to turn? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be challenging? Do you have resources? Do you have backup in case anything happens? If you have a retail space and you have a flood, where you're going to fund, like if you have a web page and your server goes down, who do you call? Who do you challenge? Right? And then at the very end, you're going to look at risks and conclusions. When someone gets a business plan, they need to have a clear idea of what it is that you're doing and try to achieve, but also be honest. Okay, what is the problem that you will be facing? Right? And then when you try your conclusions, they want to have an overall picture of what it means to invest in that business account. They want to be sure that, hey, we can do that. I'm so sorry. So I do apologize. I do the challenge. I tried to put it to
Oh,
yeah, I did. So there's this over here.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like. Something for. I'm really good. Yeah, yeah. It's so needed. That it's fine. I'm going. Yeah. So I need to know. Stories. She could be in.
Yeah. I couldn't just think of it.
Yeah.
okay, coming up okay?
Yes.
Ah, okay, good, all right.
Yeah, I'm studying up again. Yeah. Hopefully what.
You have to be the part, you let them mind.
So,
So, yeah, so what was it? Talking about the service. So, some of the things I'm not feeling myself. Talked about, like a cat, a bank of mom and dad, or you can get into your life savings. You're going to use like cash flow, how you're going to look at your using costs, right? By doing business plan and making sure that that's included in it. If you do need to go to a financial institution, it's more likely that they'll see the overall idea of what it's looking at. Meaning, if you come to a financial institution and you want a $125,000 loan, chances are they're probably gonna ask, what is it for? Is it because you need money to create your stuff? Is it for leasing space? Is it for marketing? Is it for recruiting? What's the purpose? Right? And once you get to the last step, which is basically the last frontier where your investors are going to go. This person done before, they've done the research. What is the struggles and what are we going to get? Because if you not put money to start the companies, but we need to make sure that that money is invested in but right? We don't want to put money, it's not going to work. Make sense? Any questions so far? Okay. So let's talk about the first introduction. So it should be fairly simple to the cover page. Most business plans start off with a strong logo or a strong first page of what it means to be reading your business plan. If you're going to look at the logo, I would recommend something that's going to be striking, something that's going to be professional. Come across business plans, all the words was a picture of all pixelated. So you kind of like basic question, which is better, right? We'll look in the table of context, which is basically the summary of what it is that business plan includes. And then we get to the here's the thing. Out of all the things that is within your business plan, that is your most important one. Okay. That is going to dictate to your investors what it is that your business is going to be, what it is that your business is going to be, how are you going to fund it, how are you going to research, and what it is that the financial impact is going to be. I'll show you that exactly. But most people and most investors, and I have to say myself, I speak the whole business plan sometimes, and I look at that last page. But executive summary is going to tell me whether or not it's any homework, whether or not you're responsible for selling business, or you just flying on the facts. Okay. So I'm going to show a little screen on here after this. And like I said earlier, it's look at the questions that are on the screen and figure out what it is that your business is going to achieve. If I'm an investor looking to put money into your business, whether it's marketing agency, whether it's printing, whether it's a garbage disposal, answer those questions. I want to be able to read your executive summary, find out the industry you work in, find out how your products or your services differentiate from everybody else. Right? If you look at pizza, for instance, you have pizza at cost me 50 years. It's 72 year, up to 100. How are they all different? What makes you choose one over the other? Is it the ingredients? Is it the quality? Is it the delivery time? Is it the location? So these are all things that you need to consider, right? When you look at how you differentiate your service or your business. The type of business structure. Is it just you? Is it a department? Is it a corporation? Okay. All these questions that come into mind when someone looks at your executive summary. I don't want to have to reach out to you and say, hey, well, is it just you? Are you solely owned? Are you doing this? Is it a corporation? Is it a board? How does it work? Right? You also want to make sure that if you look at your business plan, is it a startup? Is it already running? Are you planning on getting it? How long has it been? Has it been in operation for a year? Been for 10 years. Right? So look at what it is that you want to tell. Experience. How many people are there? Do you have employees? Do you have partners? Do you have outsourced companies that you work? These are all questions that you should have really handy. You should be able to answer within that. Okay. And then things like what's your financial performance? If you're starting out, let's face it, you're probably not going to have a strong idea of what numbers you're going to put in. Let's move that. You're probably going to put a lot in it. You're going to inject into it. And that first year, you might be, but you need to have that between. And the other side of it is to be able to at least acknowledge how much you make, how much you make. Because we're all in business to make money. That's how the world is looking at. If people are going to take the time to read the exact business plan, we want to see exactly the type of performance that you do. Okay. So I'm going to show you here what an example is like this. So you have this is started for photocopying and faxing and stuff like that. So you have Really simple, exactly feeling, nothing to the text. We would be exactly something, and then that's where the industry machine does. You know, what type of industry they operate, the revenue market that the business is in, a little bit more detail information. And after that, we go into a little bit information about the actual structure. In this particular example, it is, it is sole price. Something was experienced that they use to technical requirements of if you look at, for instance, the community and the actual area. The protection for the first year are 335,000. More detail is going to be given on the actual business plan, but I look at this and go, okay, that's a very strong protection. And what that looks of what we've implemented, right? Because one example is that the sell is $40,000. It might be 40,000, it might be less. It depends on how the business goes into it. And then it looks at monthly subscription, how they expect it, how these already employees, right? What areas are going to be, if this is done contract in business nature. And it tells you what the very important. It talks about the first classification, the walking traffic, the newspaper advertising, direct selling, the rapidly build over time based in the future. So why would that be when you look at it, even if he knows it's going to be transferred to businesses, he knows it's going to be providing for the marketing and practice services and stuff like that, and they should be onto businesses. That's probably going to be his main client. You know, business relationship in the very first year is one of the things that inherits the business that you even start them. Okay. So let's talk about the team. Prepare from business to business. When I did my business platform in Portugal, I have myself in the department. We have 17 of that. We have one system manager that basically did a lot of the staffing. We had another person that we outsourced, did a lot of the recruiting. At the end, we had another company lead accounting for us. It's a matter of some time. 15, it's pull up the numbers and see how we're making, what's running out, what's not running. We also, in my case, invested in new technologies. So we software design for our specific, because not every restaurant is the same. We found out now something. But your team should at least, the team profile should be looking at your experience that you have and everybody can see. If you have a board of advisors, you should put them on there and what the credentials are. Where are they coming from? What access to what knowledge do they bring to the business? Or we just hiring someone and getting some here for this tag along. So we look at professional services. I outsourced HR and I outsourced tech support because it was just easier in my case. But sometimes people might do that in house. If you have different environment, so this is that we should bring them up into your business. Okay. And then many policy HR. I come from a country where HR is extremely regulated. It makes it really hard for me to know all the ins and outs of law that I needed to know. Hiring me, what is the bonuses and tax deduction, right? So I had specialists that I really outsourced that it wasn't cheap, but it made it a lot easier, and in the end we could fill it. So it just made us allow us give us time to put all our into the business itself, right? So let's talk about the business environment. These types of summary, you should have a little bit of history and a little bit of a summary of what your business does, what your business has been doing, and how long it's starting, it's not starting, right? We want to make sure that the business, they can have an idea if it's still in its infancy or if it's being established already in operation, right? You want to look at your industry trends. COVID, for instance, during that period where all the shops might have been a bad time for a restaurant to start up, right? So maybe I would have shifted from a needs-based location to online. It's not a coincidence that back then we had a lot of those kitchens. Right? So going to grow the product. Okay, are you just selling one location? You plan, you're looking to get another kitchen. Right? So and then you also have to look at your position. I'll give you the example of pizzas, right? We have Papa John, Pizza Hut, Domino's, right? They always something different to do. And as consumers, we will look at a lot of things. We look at the cost. Sometimes people will look at the delivery times. Sometimes people will look at occasionally. I'm probably going to order pizza food on the block and maybe a place that's 20 blocks away. When we want to look at your growth aspect and figure out when it's feasible to expand, how you're going to, right, and figuring out the important things to take that. Okay, let's talk about the marketing. This is my slide. Spend hours talking about this. So unity plan should include almost the target, right? When you design a marketing plan, whichever business you go into, you need to really learn very early on who is going to be your target. Is it going to be, you'll have children products, or children, like children books. Your target's not going to be the children. The child is going to be the parents. Like, they're the ones who buy the books. They're the ones who can be children, kids. I can sell and design a coloring book, but it's not going to be my 6 to 7 or 8 year old. It's going to be targeted. It's going to be the parents. Right? But they're the ones who have to purchase and follow. You want to look at your services and products. What it is that you're trying to do, what is it trying to sell, what type of service, what type of product, how are you going to develop it? Is it going to be stagnant, just going to be one product, or you want to derive more? Maybe you start off with coloring books, then you go into maybe a digital one where you can maybe draw and erase, for instance. You're going to look at the pricing strategy. We're in the business of making money. Like if I spend all of this effort in starting up a business and I'm losing money and I'm not gonna keep my business running, either it's a pricing issue or it's an expense issue. Right? You need to at least make sure that you break even. Right? Otherwise, what's the point? Now you want to do sales and distribution. So for example, if you look at online commerce these days, it's not just the website. If you want to buy a ticket to a concert, you can go to Ticketmaster, you can go to Live Nation, you can go to Buy Now, you can go to StubHub. Right? All the more all the different services and different pricing. Same thing in distribution. You can look at something that's going to be really easy to distribute and you can make it in-house. I was fortunate to I started a soap company in New Yorkshire, in England, and it was really just the kitchen at the time. And then which the he expanded, he rented out a warehouse, he had a whole production line, they now have about 13 stores all across the UK so far. And in the beginning, it was just literally packaging, and then we have, right? And now they have a whole distribution company that they use, right? You're gonna have to do this public to advertising. This is something that sometimes is easily overlooked. People don't put a lot of investment into a lot of time into how you're gonna get people public out there. Social media, TikToks, sure. But if your target is not, how are you gonna reach them? Are you gonna do flyers? Are you gonna do newspapers? Are you gonna you have to tailor your approach to your market, to your target. In situations where you have product that might not be physical and it's an electronic product, what is the benefit? How are you going to reach those people that may not be one? And I come from a bank where online banking is easier for everyone, and most people these days have. In fact, we have clients that don't feel comfortable. How do you build that service? How do you all factor? Right? Sometimes it takes a little effort, right? But with your advertising to the market, you target taking clients to be watched. Okay, let's talk about your operations. We plan and you refer to your operation side of things. You want to make sure that you're trying to stage of development. Like I said, the product that you're working on the service that you're looking to sell out there, has it been designed? Has it been done? Has it been included? If it's a food course, has it been tasted? Someone tried it out. What would it feed? Did you do a test? Right? You want to know as well as the production process. How do you do it? Is it just the one person in the kitchen making bar soap? What happens if that person is sick? What happens if that person quits? What's your backup? Yeah. So these are all the information that you should be able to put in your business plan to at least provide some new detail into your investors what bigger picture is. So let's talk about finance. So this is one of those things that a lot of people are really trying to talk about because nobody talks about money. Nobody that's about talk about spending. And one of the things that in the finance section, you can chapter, you can read that way. Let's talk about your capital statements. This is basically how much money you're in, how much money you're making. Let's be honest, if you're starting a business, you're not gonna have a lot of, you're not gonna have a lot of details on how the money is gonna go, where it's going to go, and how much you need. So if you have to the very beginning, have some protections. Like you don't wanna be putting out unrealistic numbers. Like if I'm starting a piece of business, I'm not gonna say in the first year it's gonna be $600,000. And you're gonna be having to sell a lot, it's just get right? You want to look at your income statements, right? So this is where you're gonna realize how much money we need, whether it's from sales, whether it's revenue, partnerships. You want to look at the income in terms of how much money you're making. That could be something that you can add on there, right? Often we see businesses that start up and the CEO, the business owner is paying himself 80, 90, $100,000, but the business is just making just barely load because the priority is sales, right? So we have to just like expectations. We have to be realistic when we look at it. And then you can balance sheet, right? So you look at how much money you've made, how much money you spend, and what you spend it on. You spend a lot of money on job advertising. Right. How much did you get from that? Right? If you spend $50,000 in a media company, what's the revenue from it? How much money? At the end of the day, every single business, it doesn't matter if it's a little pastry shop in the corner, the multinational company like oil. And it's how much money you spend, how much money you make. Okay. Any questions so far? Anything that no? Take a look at the end of that. So last step, this is it's about being on. It's about looking at yourself, looking at the business, and so I have very good intentions. I know what I want to do, and I know what I want to be. But what is the trouble that I'm going to get? Right? What is the problems I'm going to have to face? It could be simple things like, okay, I'm going to the retail space. I have a leasing contract. What happens if I miss? What do I do? Where do I go? I have a flood. And what do I call? How do I handle it? Right? Economy. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. No one thought that COVID was coming. No one thought that we'd all shift to digital presences and virtual meetings and right. But a lot of companies have to beat it. Right? So these are all things you need to consider. Right? And then conclusions. Basically, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs. You want to keep it simple. Look at what it is that you've done so far on your business plan. Make the achievement of what it is that you want to get out there, right? And it's going to be that sentence that's going to be going to look at the investors and they're going to repeat it and they're going to go, okay, this makes sense, I'm happy, right? But you need to be honest all the way. When I started my restaurant a few years back, before I had gray hairs, it was very interesting to put that into paper what I wanted to achieve. And a lot of things that I thought were good ideas, didn't happen. Because we had issues with the street, we had issues with the place that we rented out in the end, we shift locations, some of the partnerships that we worked on didn't quite come to fruition. But these are all things that should be in your business plan, right? But this is a document that you have, whether it's a Word, a notepad, or it's on a whiteboard. It's fluid. It will change, and you should at least look at it once, maybe twice a year, right? Because where you think you're going to be, 90% of the time, there's going to be obstacles that you're going to have to handle it. It's going to be concerns that you didn't think about. But having this available to you and at least being able to work very so often will allow you to pivot, will allow you to shift those goals. Maybe some obstacles were overcome, maybe some goals were met first. Okay, what's next? What's the next chapter? So I'm fortunate enough to work for a company that from a business point of view has a lot of different approaches to different scenarios. I started with Royal Bank months before COVID hit. Right, so my training that was supposed to be in person and I was supposed to be doing clients in my office. A lot of it was virtual, right? And That's what businesses do. Right? They change, they adapt, they fluid, they grow, they expand, they hire, they recruit, and that's what we want to be in, right? Any questions? Anything before we see what we're? Yeah, good.
Yeah. Good.
We.
Yep.
Q&A?
Did you include a succession plan in the business plan, or is that a separate, a succession plan?
You could include it in business. Plan. I didn't think that that's handled when your business is already established. I didn't include the succession plan in my business plan until I was pretty much ready to continue moving from. Because when you include a succession plan in your business plan from the very beginning, sometimes it can send out the wrong idea. It can mean that this is just a temporary thing. Maybe as soon as something better comes along, you jump ship. Right?
I have a box of questions. So.
Sure.
Maybe go next year, people be encouraged to ask questions. So I don't know if everybody saw the same. Thank you on your presentation. Thank you. So I saw 4 key components of the business plan. One is the executive summary, summarizing everything. That's a major component. And I see a financial component, marketing component, and operation. Yeah. Now we're in a small business center and we do plan. Try to help businesses.
Yeah.
But do you advise the small business center to do the business plan for businesses or be there with them step by step? Sure.
So what you're asking me is if I advise whether or not to contribute to this plan to them?
Would the business owner do it himself or herself? Or should a professional do it for him or her?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the type of business and the complexity of it. Having an outside eyes looking at it, if it's someone that, that thinks definitely has an impression experience in it, sure. My advice first, it's always do it yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to be able to get someone else to look at it, but I think you should be honest and put it to paper first on what you think your business is going to be. And once those first foundations are there, then I would probably bring someone to take a look at it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I made that mistake.
Other questions? Maybe I would need to ask for them. Sure. One feedback we receive a lot, several business owners here, maybe they can prove me wrong. Okay. One feedback we have is that more often than otherwise, business owners will develop a business plan and then after that shelve.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of taking it to the banker.
Yep.
And you have the funding.
Yep.
And then after that, you put that somewhere else.
That's
And you
Good
go.
point.
What is your advice?
Yeah, I don't recommend them. Several points of view is, like I say, your business plan is fluid. You think you've got it and you think you've done everything you needed to do, but I can guarantee you a year or 2 years down the line, you can work back to that document and you've done things or you've actually things that you didn't came from the plan, right? There'll be things in your business plan that you meant to do that you need to get a tax. And from a financing and banking point of view, business account manager or business lender will be looking at where you are, where your business plan is. So keep that up to date and always at least once a year, revisit, see if the strategy that you're implementing adds up to what you originally thought. Because I can guarantee you that account manager, when it looks at funding, is going to be within your business plan. And if it's outdated, then you're probably going to have to make it here. Right? And or at least provide more up-to-date information on your assets, your liability, your expenses, your income, right? We see that a lot sometimes with clients that come to us with a business plan from like 4 years ago. And it's like, okay, well, you have an extra shop now. What is that in your business? Always just like spur of the moment and you hope it sticks and it's gonna make sense. So I do recommend you keep it handy. When I had my business plan, the first year and a half, I probably didn't do much as I should. Because once we actually got into a routine that we had an accountant with us, we looked at what we were. It just made managing the business and the end results a lot more appealing.
And, okay. You have priority, by the way. Yeah. Okay, question. And
And just looking for suppliers, let's say.
Right.
So how do you balance going into that business meeting by sharing enough information, but not too much that you give your complete business plan away and then run the risk of someone taking that idea?
Yes, so when we look at suppliers, you want to do your research first. By the time you get to that meeting, you should already have an idea of whether or not that person can help.
Mhm.
Right? You want to know that type of resource they have. And then fulfill the interpretations, is a price point that they offer, not just for adequacy or expertise, what you can do. I also often recommend that if you're looking at generic suppliers, they should be able to get at least get you some information in advance, right?
Mhm.
When I reached out to some of the business owners around my area at the time, I had proposals from them before I even had a meeting with them. Right? And you have to remember that information goes both ways.
Mhm.
Right? And it's not about whether or not to disclose too much, it's whether or not the information that you can provide them is adequate to the meeting that you collect. Like, if I'm going to a meeting with for a supplier or an outsourced company, I don't need to tell them like how many people I have. I need to tell them this is what I do, this is what I make, this is my expectations. This is the price point that I will discuss. And can you fulfill this? Right?
can I have a hand? Friends in the back?
How often, if ever, will you update your business plan? How often, if ever?
I have to say, when I had one, I think I was in like version 37. Because it literally shifted every quarter. All it takes is for a member of staff to resign, a member of staff to, switch roles, supplier to start providing something that you may have, that you may need. So, like I said, at least once a year, you should review it, make sure that it's still up to date. And then here's the thing, and here's the catch. If something changes and you actually put it on that business plan, chances are you're going to have more successes with adapting to that change. Right? Rather than just figuring out whether or not you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. You made a decision today, forget about it tomorrow, then you decide something else to do the week after, right? And that sends off the wrong message, both to investors, but also to your team, right? I think I can speak for a lot of people where they're not getting their role with the organization, and the message of the corporate, goal is shifted, or the goal is moved forward, or it's a completely different road they have to go on. So same thing in the business plan, right?
Yeah, and there.
Who all should the business plan be shared? Like, if you have a part-time employee, would you share it with them or who,
Yeah,
would
yeah.
you share that?
So the business plan should be intended for business owners. In this case, if it's solely sole proprietors, should only be yours. And obviously you share it with either a bank if you need financing, for instance. You share it with investors if you're looking for capital, injection into your business. Share a business plan with part-timers or people who don't need that information. It can be a little bit confusing because you might give out one information, and like I said, if your business plan changed 6 months down the line, how is that person going to react? And if I had a restaurant and I had 70 members of staff, and all of a sudden I went, okay, I'm going to pivot everything online, chaos with this. I was still going to have jobs, I was still going to pay. So I was like, I'm still going to work. Right? So, yeah.
Just as we still have some time for questions, sure. And some statistics that are coming to my mind are that number one, in Alberta, small businesses are about 98% of all businesses in the province, 98%. That's small business. And yet, they're experiencing a high attrition rate, 53% before the age of 5 years. Three main reasons, root causes for that high attrition rate. Marketing,
Yeah.
finance.
Yep.
The strategic management. You highlighted those, on the business plan.
Yeah.
So would I suggest that if somebody, you don't have a game plan, you don't have a business plan, you're not following it, then you are setting yourself for a possible.
So there's plenty of cases, plenty of studies that have happened. Business owners that do develop a business plan tend to succeed in it. And that comes from the fact that, like I said, you have, it's almost like a manual. Your business plan should be what you refer to when you want to find out where you are, whether or not you're successful. If you have a business plan that you're gonna have 70 members of staff, and a year later you're only 4, okay, what's gone wrong? Is it the recruiting? Is it the business environment? Right? Is it the wages? Right? Is it the shifts? So having that business plan, it does strengthen your chances of success because you have something that you can always try and follow. Right? It's like if you're at school and you have all those chapters, and you're not going to do an exam at the end of the year without at least having a sense of what about. Right? Your business plan is exactly the same. You start off with a business, and if you don't have it, you're gonna go in it like by figuring out as you go along, right? And then maybe you think, spending $20,000 in a marketing company is great, but maybe if you do more than 55, you 15 should have gone to production, right? Or maybe 15 should have gone distribution. Maybe 5 should have been marketing, 5 should have been distribution, and 5 should have been wages. But if you don't have that mindset of going into it and checking and seeing where you are, how are you going to succeed?
Okay,
I agree.
Where is the balance between an advisory board and a manager? So should the advisory board be giving the manager options? Manager decides what route to take, or should a manager give the board options? The board decides.
It can work both ways. So for instance, if you have an advisory board that can look at the overall picture, 9 times out of 10 the managers tend to agree with it. And that's because they're the troops on the ground, right? They're the ones who are looking at how the business runs. They're the ones who are to come to problems. The advisory board can shift priorities, and your manager should be able to adapt and work that a little bit. But the advisory board should also consider the input that a manager has. When I had my manager, my assistant restaurant manager come to me and saying, I'm having no trouble with this supplier because the bottles are wrong, they don't deliver on time, and my job was to be able to take that information in and adjust it. Okay, maybe we need to consider different suppliers. Maybe we need to look at different oil. Right? So it should flow both ways. Sure.
Okay. And we're going to ask for our student again. We have student there, so we're going to use their full time, but okay. In my interaction with my students, most of them, their dream is to have their own business. So which they are like the typical entrepreneur. The typical entrepreneur has good ideas, but doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
So you need to go to somebody who has the money to get it. So how important is it for you as a banker to see a good business plan before you make the decision to put some money? How important is that?
They say that always will make good intentions, right? And business owners are the same. You can have fantastic ideas, right? But without a strong business plan, how can you convince that person? Well, it's an investor, it's a bank. How can you make that idea convincing, right? And I speak from a little bit of experience with some business owners that they come to the branch and I want to do this. This is what I want to do. This is going to be my product. Great. How are you going to make it happen? oh, I need $175,000 because I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this person, I'm gonna design this, okay. Put it in writing first. Let's see exactly what it is that you have to find, how you're gonna get there and then there. Because words, great, but it's the actions that speak a lot, right? Yeah.
So if I don't have any more question, I'm going to ask the audience a question. Can I? Sure. How many of you would participate in a workshop on developing a business plan? Sit down, you develop it yourself. If that were to be organized, by show of hand, how many of you would be willing to participate in that? Let me see if you see. Okay, that's good. Good. So we take note of that.
If you have any questions, just stop by the branch. I'm usually there. For the consultants and not the back person. Just, yeah, just reach out. You can pop in if you have a business plan, you can take a look at these. If you need help with the business account later, I can put you in contact with them. At least just to give you a more broad look. By all means, if for everything, then that's you see, but there's no commitment, so there isn't you're gonna study products or services. If you just want someone to take a look at it, okay, it's free because it's not going in, right? Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Bruno.
Yeah.
I think this prospects are still liking. So on behalf of the business plan. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Thank you.
Is it good? Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we still have 5 minutes if you want to interact. Enemy. Thank you very much.